Sitting there, Jagan was filled with the sense of fulfillment. Now, sitting at the throne, Jagan feels somewhat fulfillment. Is filled with some kind of a satisfaction. He feels a satisfaction, some kind of a completeness. Why? On one side, he could hear, see, smell what was happening in the kitchen. Now, this is why the chair is strategically placed. Right? Because of this position, he can hear, see, smell everything that is happening in the kitchen. Whence a constant traffic of trays laden with colorful sweetmeats passed onto the front counter. Right? A constant traffic, one after the other, without stopping. In a queue, the trays pass. The trays laden with colorful sweetmeats pass from the kitchen to the front counter, from the kitchen to the front counter, from the kitchen to the front counter. Now, what does that mean? He can hear, smell, and the trays pass to the front counter. What does that mean? Or what's the idea Jagan gets when this thing happens? Or these things happen. What is the idea Jagan gets? Yes? Anuti? What is the idea Jagan gets? Ravindi? Huh? Nothing. That the business runs smoothly. Right? Trays constantly pass to the front counter means the frying operation is going well. All the cooks are engaged in their duties. Right? So nothing to worry. Everybody is working. The business is going smoothly. As long as the frying and sizzling noise in the kitchen continued. And the trays passed, Jagan noticed nothing. Sorry. Jagan noticed nothing. His eyes unflinchingly fixed on the Sanskrit lines in the red-bound copy of underlined Bhagavad Gita. Right? Now, as long as the sizzling noise continues, what is the sizzling noise? What is meant by this sizzling noise? Yes. Can anyone tell me what is this literary device? Sizzling. Sizzling. In the lesson Lahore attack, we discussed about this. A bullet whisks past my ear and thuds into the side of the seat. Whiz and thud. Yes. What are they? Come on. What are they? Whiz and thud. Anyone? Come out with the answer. Yeah, that gives the auditory image. What else? These words, these terms, we specially call them as what? Yes. Begins with O. Onomatopoeia. Right? That gives the sound and the action. Sizzling, thud, rustling, clatter, snip, thud. Right? So as long as the sizzling noise continues, sizzling noise, right? Something like the noise like frying something in hot oil. සිස්ලින් නොයිස් තාල නැත්තම් දැන් ගිහිල්ලා තෙල් තාක්කියක් තිපේ තියලා පපඩම් කෑල්ලක් දාන්න sizzling noise. So that noise or that sound gives the idea of frying something frying. So as long as this sizzling noise continues, that means sizzling noise continues mean frying operation is going on. Cooks are frying. The sizzling noise continues in the kitchen and the trays passed. The frying operation continues. Trays are taken or the sweets are taken to the front counter to be sold. So the business goes on. Until all this happens, Jagan noticed nothing. Right? මේ ටික හරියට වෙනකන් කඩේ මොනව වෙනවද කියලා ජගන් දන්නේවත්. පැත්ත පලාතක බලන්නේ. What does Jagan do? His eyes unflinchingly, without avoiding, without looking anywhere, his eyes fixed on the Sanskrit lines of the red-bound copy of Bhagavad Gita. Now this Bhagavad Gita is the book connected to Hinduism. And also, it is the book that Gandhi read every day. So being a follower of Gandhi, as a follower of Gandhi, Jagan reads this book every day. Sometimes for no reason, he just reads it. Right? So the Gandhi followers read it. Just like imitating Gandhi or imitating or following Gandhi's principles. So he reads Bhagavad Gita. But if there was the slightest pause in the sizzling, he cried out. If there is a slightest pause, very little, very small pause, stop in the sizzling noise. That means if the cooks stop their work for just 1 minute, උස්සියේ වැඩේ තප්පරයකට හරි නතර කරොත් නතර වුණොත් what does they do? He cried out without lifting his eyes from the sacred text. What is happening? Without looking. Now he is reading Bhagavad Gita. The man who reads Bhagavad Gita knows that the cooks have stopped their work. How? because the sizzling noise stopped. With that, he knows something wrong in the kitchen. The cooks have stopped their work. What is happening? The head cook would give the routine reply, nothing. So Jagan gets the answer, nothing. Oh, okay. So no problem. And that is a warning to the kitchen staff. I am in attention. Although I am reading Bhagavad Gita, I have my full attention on you. ඒකනේ sizzling noise එක පොඩ්ඩකට හරි නතර වෙච්ච ගමන් ආන්නේ what is happening? මොකද අතන වෙන්නේ? Nothing. Okay. And that would quieten Jagan's mind and enable to return to the Lord saying, that is okay. Now again, he keeps silent. Looks at the Lord saying the Bhagavad Gita. Until again, some slackness was noticed at the front stall. Some slackness, looseness. That means the business is not going. The customers are there, and the front stall boy is there, but no transaction, no business is going on. Slackness, very loosely it happens. Notice at the front stall he would shout, Captain, that little girl in the yellow skirt, ask her what she wants. She has been standing there so long. So how does this man who reads Bhagavad Gita, whose eyes unflinchingly fixed on the Sanskrit lines of the red-bound copy of Bhagavad Gita, sees that little girl at the counter and the color of her skirt? Bhagavad Gita කියවන මිනිහා කොහොමද දන්නේ? අතන කවුන්ටර් එක ළඟ ගෑන් ළමයෙක් කහ පාට ස්කර්ට් එකක් ඇඳලා. දැන් ගොඩාක් වෙලා එතන හිටියා. Magical powers. හැබැයි Jagan reading Bhagavad Gita. He knows what happens in the kitchen. He knows what happens in the front counter. So this reading Bhagavad Gita is pretentious behavior. He's pretending. His full attention is on his business. Right? So being in one place on the throne, he manipulates the whole business. He's a good businessman. He's a good businessman. He can manage the whole business by sitting in one place. He can handle everything, every situation in the shop. His shout would alert the counter attendant as well as the watchman at the door. When he shouts, the counter attendant, the counter boy, becomes alert. Jagan is looking. He's watching us. And also the watchman means a person like the security guard at the door, an ex-armyman. Ex-armyman means former army soldier in khaki uniform, who had the tendency to doze off in his dealwood seat. Now all the time sitting on the wooden steel, this watchman doze off. He just in half asleep, he just falls down, head goes down, right? Dozing off. And this Captain also becomes alert. When Jagan shouts, Captain, he becomes alert. Oh, Jagan would cry, Captain, that beggar should not be seen here except on Fridays. This is not a charity home. So he has a system of handling his business. He doesn't donate money every day. Right? හැමදාම හිඟන්නොන්ට සල්ලි දෙන්න ගියහම business එක කරන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. So Jagan has a special day, only Friday. He gives money. The surroundings were hushed when the master counted his earnings for the day. When Jagan starts counting the day's collection, silence. Although the boy at the front stall received all the cash, he was not supposed to know the total. Even the cashier doesn't know the total. Cunning business. Underline, he just dropped every paisa he received into a long neck bronze jug. Now, can someone tell me why does Jagan use a long neck bronze jug to collect cash? A long neck bronze jug. Why? Why does he use such a thing? Not a box, not a drawer, but especially he has given the front stall boy a long necked bronze jug. Why? Hurry up. Now, this is a discussion. Tell me, what is the reason? Why it is long necked? අයක උසපෝච්චියක් මල් පෝච්චියක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඩොග්ගුවක් මල් පෝච්චියක් වගේ එකක්. Long necked. When it is long necked, the boy cannot put his hand in. Right? එක උස එකක් වුණාම ඕක අතුලට අත දාගෙන දඟලනකොට ගන්න පේනවා. It's not easy. නිකන් එක ෆ්ලැට් පොඩි එකක් වුණා නම් ටික් ගාලා කාසියක් ගත්ත සල්ලි ගත්ත හාස්කුවේ දාගත්තා. Now he cannot steal. Long neck. Bronze jug. Metal one. Bronze. So after every business, when he drops money, Jagan can hear. අර bronze jug එකට දාන පාට Jaganට ඇහෙනවා. අත දාන්න නැතුව පෙරලලා ගන්න කියොත් සරවර ගාලා සද්දය ඇහෙනවා. So stealing is impossible. Jagan is a cunning businessman. 6 o'clock, right? At 6 o'clock, the business is over. He hands over the day's collection and return to his seat. Cash collection එක ගෙනත් දුන්නට business එක ඉවර නෑ වගේ. He returns to his seat and brought in, underline, another installment in a smaller container at 7. From 6 to 7, again he continues. He sells and earns money. And that money is in a smaller container. In a small one. And he again returns it at 7 o'clock. When the shutters were drawn, Jagan would not count the cash yet, but continued to read the Lord's sayings. Jagan receives the cash, but he doesn't pay attention. He is still reading Bhagavad Gita. Without looking up, he was aware that the frying had stopped. Now, without peeping at the kitchen, now he knows the frying operation is over. How? He noticed the hissing of the oven when the fire died out. දැන් දවසේ වැඩි ඉවර වුණාම වතුර ඉහිනවා ගින්දරට දර කෑලි වලට ඉහිනකොට ගාලා ගින්දර නිවෙනවා දර කෑලි නිවෙනවා අන්නේ hissing sound එක ඇහෙනවා then the of the oven the fire died out and the clinging of pans and ladles being washed when these pans and the ladles are තාච්චි හැඳි ටික when they wash them you hear the clink 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 clinging sound වදින සද්දය ඇහෙනවා so Jagan knows that they are cleaning the vessels and then the footsteps approaching him right now Jagan is paying attention to each and every area now that is over right okay they cleaned it they died out the fire right now they are washing the pots and pans and ladles then 4 pairs of feet from the kitchen 4 pairs of feet 1 pair 2 pairs 3 pairs 4 pairs now what are these 4 pairs of feet මොනවාද මේ කකුල් ජෝඩු 4 who the 4 cooks and 1 pair of feet from the front that the front stall boy the count attendant one comes from the front as trays of leftovers were brought in as the last act of the day so the front stall boy brings the leftovers the remaining food sweets of the day right so out of all the sweets they could sell some and just like in any food store shop there may be some leftovers remaining food items now the front counter attendant or the front stall boy he brings the leftovers of the day these are the items or the sweets that we could not sell today he brings them right we'll stop for today right now the today's lesson is over for today